fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Why more money is not the answer, unless this happens. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again, Salt Strong Unchurched. This episode is all about money. Money, woo! It's mentioned more than 800 times in the Bible, and money and possessions in general are the second most referenced topic in the Bible. And what's interesting, nowhere in the scripture is debt or this just kind of infatuation and this obsession with money, viewed in a positive way. Normally it's in more of a negative way. And many of you have probably heard the quote in the Bible. Jesus says, if you want to be perfect, go sell all your possessions and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And a young man, heard this who he was talking to, and basically said he couldn't do it. And Jesus said, I tell you the truth, it's hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And really what a lot of this deals with is this obsession with money. And when I talk about unless this happens, it brought me back to something that happened to me recently, just having a conversation with a friend. I was explaining to him, just kind of bragging on him, not about myself, but about this business who is very, very generous. And now this business is doing about $300 million a year in revenue. That's a big company, right? And it just started from, two brothers doing something that they liked and something they were good at. And it started off super, super small. And now to the point, they're giving over $20 million a year away, to charities, to churches, to organizations that they support. And, right off the bat, his comment was, oh, yeah, well, that'd be really nice if I had a company to $300 million that I could give that much. And it took me back to something that I had to learn the hard way, because I had that same mindset, which is why I'm not going to pick on that person or even you if that's your mindset, because it's easy for us to say that, oh, yeah, well, if I had this amount of money, then, of course, I'd be more generous with it. And I disagree. It's actually not true at all, and it's proven to be true. Just look at lottery winners, which we'll talk about in a second. And really, when you go back and look at the story of this company, those two brothers were giving day one. Even when they weren't even profitable, they were giving. And Tony Robbins has this quote that I love. It hit me so hard the first time I heard it. And it says, money cannot change who we are. Money cannot change who we are. All it does is magnify our true nature. All it does is magnify what we're currently doing. All it does is magnify how we're currently behaving. If you're mean and selfish, all money's going to do is let you be more mean and selfish. And I mentioned lottery winners earlier. I'm sure you've probably heard the stats. 70%, and in some areas it's high as 80%, but 70% is the national average that lottery winners go bankrupt. I'm talking about they actually go negative. So they lose every dollar they won. They didn't make it. They won it. They didn't have to work for it. They lose every single penny and then some. They actually have to go file bankruptcy because they're in debt. So money just magnified what they were currently doing. Like not saving money and buying lottery tickets. It's almost every single lottery winner. These are I'm talking about people who win multi-millions of dollars. Almost every single one of them keeps going back and buying more lottery tickets. They literally just burn through all this money. To me, it's like if I won $50 million playing lottery, which I don't play lottery, but if I won that much money, I would never play again. You've won. You can't beat that. Why not just save your money? And so here's what I'm getting at. These people did not save because they weren't saving prior. Money just magnified what they were currently doing. It's also ironic that most of these lottery winners are people who, do have a lot of I'll just say they've made some bad choices in their lives, and they just continue to keep making those same dumb choices and spending it on stuff that's not smart and literally saving none because, once again, money magnifies what we're currently doing. It magnifies our current habits. It magnifies our true nature. And that's why 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within 2 to 3 years, which is just mind-boggling. But it makes sense, and it proves Tony Robbins' point. Money cannot change who we are. So earlier, I mentioned this title, Why More Money Isn't the Answer Unless This Happens. The unless this happens is meaning like do the right thing, right? If you want to be a giver and you want to give $20 million away in the future because you made so much money, then start doing it now, right? Givers get magnified. Generosity gets magnified. All money does is just magnify who we are and what we're currently doing. And I mentioned I realized this because I had that same kind of mindset. There's a couple years there where we were really, really thin. Not just then, we were losing money, and I kind of stopped giving, and I kind of got in a little bit of a rut, and I could justify it. Literally, why would I give 10% of let's just say a tithe of negative money? I mean, I had 2 years there where we actually just not only make money, we lost money. And I stopped giving completely for a while. And then one day I was like, you know what? Like I heard this quote from Tony Robbins that money can't change who we are and it just magnifies. And I said, I want to be known as a giving person when God does bless me with abundance, because I knew it was going to happen. I knew that there was going to be a point where that tide was going to change, and then all of a sudden I would be blessed. And so I said, I'm going to start giving now. So I started giving in that second year of us making no money. I started giving money away and just being generous again. And lo and behold, guess what starts happening? Like it always does, every time that I'm generous, and probably you're nodding your head the same as you, every time I start giving, even when it hurts, and even when I don't have the money to give, even when I'm negative, when I've literally made $0 for the year, all of a sudden God starts blessing me. It's been really, really wild. And you hear these stories, and yet so many of us make excuses. I know because I did. I did it for an entire year. I literally gave nothing that one year because I was so negative. And as soon as I just started trusting Him, and as soon as I started being generous with my money, good things started happening. I saw abundance start flowing towards me. And then when money did start coming to us here at Salt Strong, my brother Luke and I, as soon as we started becoming more profitable, you know what? Everything started getting magnified because we had been giving. We started giving more, and we started receiving more. It's really, really, really wild. And so I tell you all this to say money is not the answer. Money is not going to change who you are. It's not going to change your habits. It's not going to change how much you give. It's just going to magnify what you're doing. So if you want to be a big giver, if you want to be super generous, if you want to be known as just an amazing person, then start acting on that today. The best time to start giving anything, any piece of what you have is right now. There's no better time to do it. And especially here in the holiday season, I found it, not only does it feel good, but it really is true that God will just continue to bless you and your family. Sometimes it happens right away. I've had instances where, and I'm not talking about just like money back in my account, where just some amazing blessing, some right person comes into my life, or the right opportunity, the new job. That's how I landed. My very, very first job was right around the holidays, and it was a time where I had no job, and I just decided to give and give back. And I was volunteering and just doing a lot of good stuff at the time because I had nothing else to do, being unemployed out of college. And all of a sudden, this job literally came out of nowhere, and perfect job landed on my lap. And it's just so interesting how every time that you're generous and you're giving, and you're free to give money, it just starts flowing back to you, and good things start flowing back to you. Money will magnify our true nature. So if you want more of it, if you want to be a big giver, if you want to be known as this generous person, then just start giving it away now. Money is not the answer unless it happens right now, where you're starting to be generous and giving, and just the opposite of being stingy, and the opposite of this mindset that, when this happens, or when I have this amount of money, then I'm going to change. Because time and time again, statistically speaking, that ain't the truth. Just look at the lottery winners. Hope this was helpful. This was just something that, came up, as I mentioned, the last week, and it was a good reminder for me. Many of these episodes I do are good reminders for myself, because I've lived through them, and I've, basically just wanted to hit myself upside the head. So they're great reminders for me just to do the right thing and that when I do get in a rut, which does happen, and it happens to all of us, right? There's ups and downs in life, that it's easy to get distracted and say, well, I'm going to, put this off until things are better. No, do it now. Do the right thing now. You will be shocked at how you were blessed. And then when the tide does turn, when things do get better, it's just like abundance just starts flowing your way. So love you guys. Hope that was a helpful one. And make sure to subscribe to the Salt Strong podcast if you haven't already. And I put all the old episodes of the Unchurched at saltstrong.com/unchurched. I will see you there.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.